Hello and welcome to the Soft Life podcast. I'm Chrystal.
I'm Megan.
We are very excited that you're here.
Yeah.
Where do we start? Soft life.
We want the soft life. And it feels like sort of like a crazy, daring thing right now because the world is so focused on productivity and we live in New York City. So it's like the grind. So this is like our conscious effort to live the soft life.
I am obviously not from New York. I'm from London.
London.
I'm from London. I live in Harlem.
I live in Brooklyn.
And we are really excited to go on this journey of exploring and getting the soft life. So in a way, we're going to kind of be your guinea pigs, but we want you to like join this journey with us and see what you think.
Yeah. And we're not perfect. We're also trying to get the soft life and we're coming from a place of grinding.
Definitely. And sometimes you can think it like practically or it can make sense intellectually, but actually you're not really doing it.
Yeah.
We're also mums. We have 4 kids together, 2 each. Mine are older as well. I'm dealing with teenage years.
Right.
13 and nearly 10.
I have 1.5 and 4.
Yeah. So we're obviously going to have to cover that.
Yeah.
Why not?
And we both have spouses.
Yes, we both do. I'm divorced.
I'm married.
But I have a new partner. I think we've been working in the journalism world plus other areas for about 30 years together.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot to say.
Yeah.
And we're in search of a soft life. Also, I remember you were talking about a Questlove quote when we were like deciding about like getting together and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So the Questlove quote was, he was like, Black people don't retire. Like they work and they work and they work till they're dead. And he was like, I'm going to try to make a point of working and creating and then retiring. And I just loved that. And Questlove, oh my God.
Totally. And that makes a lot of sense because in a way, especially like our heritage and background, so we're both Jamaican, we've always had to work, literally, from like being like kidnapped and put on the island.
Right.
We've always had to work and we really have to take this seriously. It's true for our health as well.
Yeah,
So
it is serious.
We definitely have to do.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Exactly.
It's real.
It is real. It is serious. And we are really going to like have a go at this soft life thing.
And okay, and also while we're actually here, what started this whole thing was we both got laid off. And
yes,
obviously not fun to be laid off, but it's so funny because we had different approaches about getting laid off.
Yeah.
Like I got laid off and I had to almost like obsessively tell everyone that I got laid off. Like I Instagrammed it. I would like, it'd be like the first thing out of my mouth at a party. And I feel like it was like a compulsion almost.
Yeah. Do you know why you felt like you had to do that?
Yeah, I feel like I had to be on the offensive, you know, like I had to, it's probably like a self-defense mechanism, right? I had to say it before like the pity came.
Yes.
Because it does, we all know it sucks to get laid off. So I had to like say it first to like take control or something.
I love that you talked about like a defense, like on the defense. I felt like I kind of retreated.
Well, you held it close.
Yeah, I kind of felt like, you know, when you see like a tiger or a lion in retreat, I was kind of like that. And actually I am tiger in the Chinese zodiac, actually.
Are you?
I am.
I think I'm a rat.
Oh my God, so New York. And like, that's what I felt because actually I know that like being laid off, especially in America, is like a rite of passage, right? And it's nothing to be ashamed of, but I just didn't feel good about it. And I was really shocked. And also like, I just didn't like, I don't know, I just really kept it in. I processed it and it was just a lot for me.
Yeah.
So the idea of like, blasting it out to the world was like opposite
cringy
for me.
Yeah.
Not even not cringy at all. I remember when I saw it on your IG and I was like, you're a fucking legend.
I mean,
I love that. But I just couldn't do it. I think like it really like shook me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was annoyed that it shook me because I really feel like, tell me if you can relate to this. You know, there's a guy that you're dating or girl, whoever, and they're kind of like, you're not really that happy in it. And you want to break up with them, but they get there before you. It kind of felt like that.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was like the person you were going to break up with and they got there before you. So it was like so frustrating.
Right.
It was like upsetting. It was a little bit embarrassing. There was like so many emotions.
I guess it is embarrassing on some level.
But it really shouldn't be embarrassing because it's not personal, but it just kind of feels like it. So I was like really like impressed by your approach. But our approaches were so different.
I know.
Yeah.
But like it brought us to this. And what happened? We ran into each other at the most glamorous holiday party.
Yeah.
and in Brooklyn Heights.
Yeah.
And that's where we talked and learned that, we talked about being laid off. And then we got a coffee later that week at Raps.
Yeah.
And you walked in and you looked so good. I was like, she knows stuff. No, really.
I mean, I don't even know. It's amazing that you can remember this. My memory is so terrible sometimes. But how did it turn into a podcast? Obviously, like I'm like a little more in the podcast world. We're both journalists and stuff. But
well, you're the one who meant you go blah 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 haha I want the soft life or something. And I was like, wait, what's the soft life?
Yes.
And you were like, oh, it's this like way of thinking. It originated in Nigeria with women.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I do remember that.
You brought it up and I was like, what is that? Because it's like the soft life. It just like sells itself.
Yeah.
Like the sound of it. You
know?
know?
Definitely. So I was speaking to a friend of mine from London who's also actually, she's not from London. Sorry, she's from the north. But I was speaking to her. Terrible.
Wait, what's the north?
I know it's so like
the north.
The north. She's from like Sheffield.
Okay.
So in London is like south.
Oh,
north.
yes, Sheffield.
She's from Sheffield. She's amazing. She's Jamaican. Her name's Cash, and she was on her way to Colombia because she spends half the year in Cali, and then she also works in events. We met in arts, in the arts world. And I was saying to her, I just love this. You're just like in Cali working on projects, and you're coming back to London working, like what's going on? I like need some of that. You're a legend. And then she said, babe, it's all about the soft life. And I said, what is that? Tell me more. And she's like, you have to prioritize like well-being, emotional, like low stress, because it's not good for us. And I said, that's so true. There's so much that we like keep inside, hold inside. And we don't need to. Like, how do we relinquish that? And how do we create a life that works for us that's also practical? Because we're not made of money. I need to work.
No, yeah.
And I have kids, you know what I mean? So, like, how do we get that? And she's an amazing person. I love her vibe. And I just want to follow that.
Wait, I like that too. But also I think important to mention, okay, so if the grind is the opposite of the soft life, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the grind in my case was also self-imposed, like I've had lovely, lovely bosses my whole life actually, and most recently. And I feel like the grind was something I kind of put on myself, So for me, it really is like a shift in thinking, an intentional shift in thinking.
Definitely, because some things are just not worth it. You know what I mean? Like some things is like, is it worth me taking on, for instance, let's say a particular project if it's going to be really high stress? No,
it doesn't pay that much.
Exactly. And where's that stress going to go? You know what I mean? Like literally in the body, but also in terms of like your attitude, like waking up and like being with the kids and, like it takes up mind space. I think that's also a really key part of it. But also something as well is like time. Mm-hmm. Time is so bloody precious.
Oh my God.
And I wouldn't have spoken to Cash or spoken to you if I wasn't laid off.
That's true.
I mean,
we wouldn't have had time.
Yeah, we wouldn't have had time to meet up. And for me, that's like so telling as well. I think the soft life is also thinking about time and what that really like means to you.
And giving yourself time within the frame of, whatever you have to do to make a living.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like if you have that luxury to think about time like that, I know there's some people where they just don't have time and they're working like low paid jobs, etc. But like we are in a position that is much more stable and privileged than our like lineage, right? Yeah. And we need to take advantage of that.
Yeah, but well said. Yeah,
that's why we're here.
And I also feel like it's making me a better parent.
Yeah,
because like just a dumb example, but like I was picking up my son from school, and we were riding the subway home, and he started to have a tantrum because I wouldn't give him another yogurt pouch or something dumb like that. And so usually it's like, oh, stop, we have to get home. Like I have to like sign back on, But I had some time. I'd just been laid off. And so I took him off the subway train like 4 stops early. And I took him on the platform and we stopped and talked. And I said, we can't go back on until you're ready and until you calm down. Yeah. And like, you need time to do that, So it just made me think like, I need to figure out a way to make a living for myself with like some time. Yeah. Some more time.
Exactly. Because you're essentially working like multiple jobs.
I mean, like the biggest job of all being that mom.
I know. It's a lot. It's interesting you mentioned that with your kids because like, I feel like for me, what it's done is I've had more time, right? Normally what I might have done is like they do their homework, whatever, and then they get a little bit of telly. Now it's like less telly we like have more time together, and now my kids are like, oh my gosh, no, like mum's more like wants to spend that intentional
Wait, like they
time
don't
with
want to
us.
hang with you?
No, because they want to like watch telly because
Right.
they're like at that age where they're like a little bit addicted.
They don't like the soft life for you. They're like,
Exactly.
go away.
My daughter was like really upset yesterday. She'd like come back from her like dad, so we like do like a 50-50, and
Okay.
sometimes, you know, it's like, you know, it's an adjustment for them,
Yeah.
like totally. And she was like, I don't like how you've like changed. It's me, darling. I just want to spend more time with you. I know it's kind of hard.
They're rejecting you.
I know, but it means that I'm here a little more.
Yeah.
But it's also a reminder of like the technology and how addictive it is, right?
Yeah.
Because I would just be going back into work doing my thing because
Totally.
I'd need to do it or go to a
Signing
meeting.
back
Or
on, yeah.
I just have to do stuff. But for them, obviously, once they'd like done the things that they needed to do, they then got to be in a place of like, let's just veg out or whatever in front of the telly. And I think a really interesting thing about the telly, look, I love telly, but sometimes it is a way of avoiding something, right? Connection and this and that. And I think my children are now sometimes like, I want to go into the telly.
Yeah, it's easier.
Totally. But then when we also have a really nice time hanging out with each other, or we're like playing games, or like they're getting into it, they actually really like it.
Yeah.
But it's not straightforward. How have you been? What have you been up to? How are things?
Well, I went to a wedding over the weekend
Yeah.
in Sayulita, Mexico, which, oh my God, is the best heaven on earth. Like such a
Sounds
little
great.
oasis. It's
Sounds like a cocktail.
Ugh, lots of cocktails. Lots of cocktails, lots of yoga, lots of cute coffee shops. It's like a old haven for surfers in the 60s. So it's like that vibe, you know, like kind of hippie-ish.
Yeah.
But I went to a wedding there, an amazing wedding. And the wedding was fantastic. But there's no but. But I reconnected with this old friend who I hadn't seen in a while. And we ended up having this intense conversation on the dance floor. And basically, we have like totally different views of what equity looks like. And he, you know, he's not into diversity and inclusion being a thing.
Trumper?
Yeah, definitely. You know, not into trans rights. And we talked about it extensively and intensely. And I didn't lose my mind, and I didn't get upset, even though it was upsetting the things he was saying, like that he doesn't think racism exists, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, the good thing about it was that we had a conversation, and it was respectful, and there was even some humor in it, crazily. And we remained sort of like friendly throughout the whole weekend. So in a way, it was kind of great because that's what's missing right now, like having those conversations when you feel so differently.
Yeah.
But it's also like rattling, you know?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. He doesn't believe in DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Is this person white?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a white man who's like from New York, now living somewhere else. I mean, has he always had these kind of views? Was it like quite shocking to you?
I don't know. Maybe he has always had these views. I don't know. No one talked about any of this in the way we're talking about it now before, you know, this current administration.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think that's a lot because also, like, I always find it really weird when people say, like, oh, they don't believe in DEI or whatever, because, I mean, if you think about the people who have benefited from DEI the most, it's actually white women. If you look at the statistics, like Forbes have done a whole poll on it. So it's interesting that, in a way, I feel like people of color are the ones who are like mostly connected to it, but actually in terms of who's benefited from it, it's mostly been white women. So that's also something that's kind of crazy. But then also you're talking about equity here. It's like as if we all start from the same starting point. Like we all know that. Like there's loads of figures to like suggest like pay gaps. There's so much about what he's saying, which is like inaccurate.
It is inaccurate.
It's very emotional. It's not really grounded.
Is it even emotional?
I think it's emotional because it's not based on anything that's real. It's just based on his like ideas, which is like essentially it's like to protect himself, right?
Well, he was like, I believe in America being a meritocracy. And I said, I do too.
Lols.
And he said, I don't think like brown and black people, it benefits them to get handouts. And it's just like, but we're not all at the starting line. there have been laws to repress black people.
Of course,
Plus oh my God, slavery. Like we're like, to crawl back from slavery is a intense, heartbreaking, crushing thing.
But
and I just
in the
don't.
60s, we weren't able to like, I mean,
I feel dumb having to explain it.
Totally, and you shouldn't even have to explain it. I mean, I think it's fucking shocking.
Yeah.
I think
Or
it's
not.
well, it's someone who you knew, and he's just like brazenly saying stuff that's inaccurate and basic and like parroting.
Yeah.
So it's really hurtful, I think. You know what I mean? Like, how did you feel? Did you like, when you said you felt rattled, like, I mean, there's only so much that you can talk to this guy,
Right.
you know?
Well, I've just learned that you can't change someone's mind, and I don't
Yeah.
try to anymore. I
Yeah.
just say what I think. So, and you know, it was we were at a wedding, so it was just an interesting experience, and I'm glad it happened. And I still respect him as a person.
You do?
I mean, he's a person. He's a human being. I
Yeah.
respect all human beings. I don't wish him harm.
Yes.
I hate that he thinks that, but
Yeah.
I'm glad we could talk.
Yeah. I think that's really, really, I think you've got like a good attitude. You're right, from a human like perspective.
He's still a human. I hope he thinks people are all human, you know, like.
Well, I don't know.
That's what's missing right now.
I think
like we're all human.
Totally. I don't think he probably does. But you know what? He's like in his own world, and he's not a curious person.
Yeah.
Clearly. But it is upsetting though.
And it was upsetting.
Yeah.
But the wedding was
Lovely.
awesome. And it was like a big gay fun wedding, so that boosted my spirits.
Totally. Also, weddings always bring out the crazies. You know what I mean? There's
Do they?
always, oh my God, so much. It's definitely like a UK thing. You always sat next to someone
people get wasted or what?
Well, definitely. But then there's also, you just bring together like such random people. You know what I mean? It's like someone's like
drama happens. Yeah.
Someone's uncle, someone's like weird cousin, you know what I mean? The bro who's like only knows people who like look like him, you know, like basic bro. So I feel like it's quite like that, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, it always happens. Yeah, like someone just like will say a racist comment or like anti-Semitic comment. There's always like something like weird that happens, even if it's beautiful. So is that your first time of experiencing craziness at a wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm usually like ripping shots and yeah.
Oh, wow. No. Maybe that says something about like Americans and, as you said, like talking to each other or like being exposed. I mean, I've experienced some like real crazy stuff at weddings.
What's the craziest?
Wow. I've had like quite like racist stuff at
a
wedding. Yeah, but it's normally when you like leave London.
Wait, like what? Like what?
It was a while ago. I had someone who... Okay, so it's a funny one. You know when someone says like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Do you have that whole thing in America?
Yeah.
Where it's like, what are they getting at?
Yeah, what are they getting at?
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes, depending on how it's said, I will be generous with them.
Okay,
but if someone says it in a way that feels, and that is a little derogatory, like, where are you from?
Oh.
Then I'm not going to like give you what you want.
Right. And what will you say? You'll say London.
Exactly, because I'm from London.
Right.
And it was like an older lady, not super old, but like an old lady. This was so long ago. I mean, this was like 10 years ago, more than that. And then she was like, no, but where are you really from? Which is like classic.
Were you offended by that question? Because you know what? I'm not offended by it because I always want to know what someone's heritage is.
Totally. I said for me, it's the tone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if someone is like curious and like interested and you can tell there's like actual interest rather than like, where can I place you look?
Right.
And I feel like we're good at like judging that.
Totally.
And this woman was being rude to me, basically, and like a bit othery, and like she was from like some weird part of the home counties, which
she's
I won't
British
like, go
too.
into.
She's British.
Yeah, too. British. Just some like older white lady
right.
who was just like just too basic. I just thought, and she wasn't being nice.
She wasn't being nice.
I could tell the tone.
You can
right? I wasn't being sensitive, and so I wasn't going to give her what she wanted. And I said London, and then she's like, no, but where are you really from? And I was like, what do you mean? The UK? And she's like, you're clearly not from this country.
Oh my
Where
God.
are you from? I know it's so hilarious now looking back, but like, you see, she's not being generous.
No,
Like, you're clearly not from this country. So like, I have this accent, but I'm not quite British enough, right?
So crazy.
So that's how I knew that she was an idiot.
Right.
And not very nice. And then I said to her, are you asking me why my skin color is the way that it is?
No way. Did you say that?
I did.
Oh, good. I'm glad
I did. I just had to draw it out. And she was like, oh, yeah.
You know what? Drawing it out is the key. Because then you realize how stupid you sound.
Yeah. But also it just reinforced my point of like, she was trying to other me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But it did take quite a lot of like energy. Afterwards, I was like really annoyed by that like horrible woman.
You're there to party and have fun.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm a little more resilient now. What I do think though, when it comes to those kinds of like racial, like microaggressions, like racial bits and bobs, sometimes I feel like racial bits and bobs.
Racial bits and bobs sound so lovely with your accent.
Sometimes I feel like I wish I was more resilient. And I think it's because I grew up in London where everyone was different, or someone who's different. And so you just grew up all together, right? Of all different backgrounds.
Right.
So I was like protected.
Right.
I didn't really see
You
or
weren't the
hear
only
much.
Black person.
No
That's
way. It's
right.
not even that. Like everyone was like mixed or
Right.
like white, black. We were all like hanging out together, different religions and things like that. Loads of people with mixed identities. So you would never really hear that. I mean, you knew it from like the older generation, like my mum's generation. There used to be signs saying no blacks, no Irish, no dogs and things like that. Like I knew of it, and you learn about discrimination with statistics with police, etc. But like I never experienced it. Whereas if I think about my friends who grew up like in the countryside who are Black, they are so much more resilient. I get like so outraged when I hear racism or someone's like super ignorant, like that person you're talking about.
Because you were in this like protected melting pot.
But they have like dealt with it.
Yeah.
The friends from the countryside, so they're like so much more chill about it, or like they're good at like preserving their energy. But for me, it like really rattles me. Do you feel like that's something with you because you grew up in New York, right?
I feel like I'm good at preserving my energy too because I'm kind of more like them. I grew up in Manhattan, but I went to this ritzy private school on scholarship. All my friends were white.
Oh my gosh.
I was the only Black person in my grade for like a couple years even.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy looking back. In New York, yeah. Well, private school, Upper East Side.
Yeah.
But it was my normal. So I wasn't unhappy. I felt normal. I mean, looking back, I'm like, oh, there are things. It's like when you don't see other people who look like you, like in positions of authority, that obviously affects you, right? But back then I was happy and ignorant of that.
But did you experience racism there?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have called it that at the time, but looking back, you know?
Yeah. So maybe that's like a difference of you just being like, having that resilience. I'm just like outraged. Well, I'm just like, but how dare you? Yeah, but I think like, thinking about the soft life, we need to think about we're taking someone's energy on like their own shit. I'm outraged. Do I need to like call that person out all the time?
Do you need to engage even?
Do I need to engage? Yeah, exactly.
Because you're not gonna. It's not our job or anyone's job to change someone's mind.
Yeah.
But it is your job to sort of defend what you believe is true and decent and generous, right?
But do they deserve that even? That's the thing sometimes. I mean, if it's like someone else I can always sometimes tell as well when someone doesn't feel like as confident to say something, and I might do that. Right. But also I'm left sometimes feeling like, who the fuck does that person think they are? Like, I'm like so shocked by that. So again, like, then I'm like thinking about it. Right.
Of course.
And that's why am I thinking about like it should just be on them. So that's something that I think like I need to like learn a little more about.
Them, but like the truth is we're all in this world, you know, like we are all connected.
Yeah.
Even if we don't want to be.
My weekend.
Yeah.
Should I talk to you about what
I hope you had
happened?
better luck than I did with some conversations. Or did you not?
Time. Well, it's a sister song. No.
How was your weekend?
I had a bit of a shit week.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, okay, where do I start? It was like great, whatever. The kids weren't with me that weekend. So sometimes I'm like feel really sad when they're not there. Yeah. Although it's obviously nice to like have a lie-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, loads of my friends who are still like with their baby daddies.
Right.
They're like, oh, it must be so great. But I think it's not in a way because you just don't have access to your children when you want and you kind of like really miss them. But in a way, I think I'm ahead of you when it comes to like when they move out, if they go to uni or whatever, you're going to be like, oh my God, my boys. Whereas I'm like, babes, get used to it. So like I'm ahead in that way. But anyway, so like that always like sometimes makes me feel a little like, sad because I like love hugging my kids and being with them. Anyway, so it's like Passover. So I'm with my partner's family. And there's normally more people there.
Okay.
Some of the family members are away or couldn't like get there and stuff. So it's like a smaller, intimate group. And there's one particular person who's like very hostile to me, basically. Everyone kind of knows it.
Yeah.
My partner has issues with them as well and has like called them out on it as well. So it's like it's slightly historic. But because it was more of an intimate setting, it was really awkward in the tension and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot. Like, I didn't really know where to look because it's like a smaller table, and I'm just like looking here, like, oh, it felt awkward, and like I don't even know to say hello. They never say hello to me, but it was like really apparent.
Never say hello to you.
Yeah, no, totally. Essentially, they ignore my existence.
Okay.
And it's normalized, although everyone knows it's like fucked up.
Yeah.
But to keep the peace, right?
No one says anything.
No one says anything. Yeah. And so I'm trying to, basically what happened was, like, after a certain amount of time, I just had to leave the room, and I was like crying and feeling really sad in like the bathroom and like someone's bedroom. Oh my
God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like a 14-year-old, you know what I mean? Like crying in the bathroom. And I was like so impacted by this person's like negative energy. So it's not like they said anything, but sometimes the power is also when they don't say anything.
Totally ignoring you like you're not there, and not ignoring other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extremely rude behavior.
Yeah.
Extremely rude behavior. And so I'm in a situation now where, when is enough enough? But then I'm also really aware of the fact that I am not born into this environment, this family structure, right? And that it's very ambitious and potentially even like arrogant to expect this whole dynamic, which is like well worn, been there for decades, to change because of some like nice, warm, like decent, like British Jamaican girl, right? I'm not going to change the family, right? I need to adapt. But how much do I adapt when someone is so rude?
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I think you can change them, because the truth is you're you. Well, okay, maybe you can't change them, but I think by you just being you, authentically you, warm you, talkative you, chatty you, who likes to come in and give people hugs, I think that, I think that will change people.
I don't think so. It's not really like happening at the moment. I've been together for a while, and my partner like gets messages from this person, like attacking me and asking like, where have we gone wrong? Or like, what are you doing with this person? And doesn't even say my name. There's just like so much intensity and drama and manipulation.
Yikes.
And so I was really badly affected by it. And normally I'm okay. But again, like thinking about the soft life, like this really disrupted my like...
Your life.
My sense of self. Like I was just really upset about it and emotional about it all weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I was thinking of also just saying to this person, like, what is your problem? Because also whenever anyone's asked what their problem is, they can't say anything. They just said, you are too different.
Oh, God.
Then there was also this other drama about me like reading their newspaper, which is like...
That just sounds silly.
I know, totally.
Sounds like a real freak.
It's like completely mental.
Okay, well, I think there's two things you could do, right? I think it could be a confrontation, which obviously isn't fun, but sometimes totally necessary. And maybe the confrontation won't do anything because, as you said, maybe you can't change people, right?
Yeah.
But I think it would feel good for you to just at least say, this bothers me. Or two, you just you ignore it, but that's like... this person can't just do that, you know?
Well, I think they can because they've been doing it for so long. And some of the advice...
Maybe they can't because they've met you now. Maybe you're the boulder that changes the course of the river, you know?
Yeah, and you have like the black woman who like has to fucking like transform everything. I'm like really exhausted with all of this like conflict stuff. Like, why is... I think that the advice is to ignore it, but I have self-respect.
Exactly.
I don't think it's acceptable to ignore someone and pretend they don't exist. Talk trash behind their back non-stop.
Yeah.
Let it impact your own relationship with my partner.
Yeah.
Harass them on the subject. Had other people like do your work because like my partner is just really telling you to like do one. Like, you know, boundaries, like when will this like end? And that's where I am right now. That's basically where I am right now. Like, so when is enough enough? When will it end? How do I move on from this? Because do you know what's really hard as well? When you haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like also connected to the thing, like the Mexico thing. It's just like there's no reason for someone to come up with this. but yet they're being so hideous. And also the older woman thing, like I love older women. I like really respect them. Like other partners, like mums have like really liked me as well. And I think there's also like an element there, maybe superficial. I don't know where it's just like, I thought that this would be different.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah. It sounds like a colossal disappointment.
Big time. And I need to change my reaction.
Well, you know what a really smart older woman once told me about family dynamics and inheriting families?
Yeah.
She said she has advice for everything. And she had no advice for navigating tricky new family members. She had no advice.
Really?
She was like, it's just one of those things. It's really hard. That's what she said.
Yeah. And I should wear it like a badge of honor. You haven't lived if you haven't been hated by your partner's relative.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know. I think we can figure something out.
Yeah. I think.
But I'm sorry that you were crying in a bathroom. That's
oh my gosh, that trash.
That sucks.
But I'm really happy to be here with you.
Me too.